Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to today's segment of Usanas Dialogues. And today we are going to discuss a very critical issue. That's the use of AI deepfakes by the non-state actors. Well, we all know that the artificial intelligence, cyber disruptions have in a way revolutionized and disturbed the world of geopolitics and geoeconomics. And in this context, the use of such disruptive technologies by the non-state actors becomes another critical concern. Though we are moving into a phase where big power rivalries are becoming stronger, but the non-state actors have not become irrelevant. We can see that what Hamas did on October 7, 2023, ISKP is very active. They are innovating, they are revolutionizing, they are using online recruitment methods, encrypted technologies. So I think it's a very critical topic that we must discuss, and it's relevant not only for the security professionals, but also for the people who are lay observers and are trying to achieve an academic expertise in the subjects. We have our fellows today of Usana Scholars Program here today, and today we are joined by an eminent expert on this subject, Dr. Soumya Awasthi. I have known Dr. Soumya ever since she was working in the Vivekananda Foundation, and she has grown up as an amazing expert on most of these subjects. Initially, she was working on Deobandi radicalization and Islamism in India, and lately she has written a lot of insightful articles on the use of these disruptive technologies by non-state actors. So a very warm welcome to you, Soumya. I'll just briefly give your introduction. I mean, you're already very famous, so most of the people already know you, so there's hardly any need for the introduction. But yes, Dr. Soumya Awasthi, she's a fellow Center for Strategy, Security and Technology at the Observer Research Foundation. And today she is with us. So I will not waste much time, and I'll just over to you. I'll leave it to you. You please give your opening remarks for about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll have a Q&A for you.
Thank you so much, Abhinav, and thank you, Usanas Foundation, for inviting me. I have been also following the work by Usanas, and I must say that you guys are doing some amazing work, bringing together the expert and like-minded people together on global geopolitics. It's very important, and thank you for doing that service. Yes, it is a very important topic for which we are here. Discussing AI, deepfakes, and the digital arsenals of terrorist organizations. So in my 2 cents, I would try to explain that how the landscape has changed and evolved for terrorism over a period of time. So, when we say that terrorist organizations are not going digital, or we say that they are going towards digital mechanism, I would like to slightly tweak the statement and say that they are already very digital, whether from AI-generated propaganda and deepfake voice drops to crypto wallets, gaming chat recruitment, and cross-platform disinformation. Basically, technology has now compressed time, distance, and detection for the terrorist organizations. So the question before us is not how these tools are used offensively, but also how states are, and especially India, can build a legal technical posture to blunt them while protecting rights. So when we talk about the landscape of threat landscape, that what has changed with AI in coming into the systems, then I think that AI has just become a force multiplier in terms of content, in terms of operational support, in terms of security and reach. So when you talk about AI as a force multiplier, the first thing that comes in mind is content at scale, because generative models have allowed small media wings to produce more polished images, videos, scripts, and multilingual voiceovers. So for example, if you see the communication material or the content that is served by the groups within Kashmir, like the PAF or Kashmir Tigers, you will realize that the kind of images they are using, the videos quality that they have, and even the content that they supply and propagate on social media, it is something which is quite polished in its output. So when you see how they are doing it's something like prelude to a movie making. So when you have the screening of a movie, that it starts with all these cast and crew details, something like that. So they have become more polished, I would say, and more professional in their reach out. So what is happening is that they have normalized the extremist aesthetics and accelerating the recruitment. Um, Now, keeping all that in mind, also we must understand that AI has also, you know, helped them reach out to smaller towns and cities where the language barrier was once a big hurdle. So now they are doing multilingual voiceovers with deep fake and deep voices. So it is one of the ways that AI has become a force multiplier. Then, of course, there are propaganda and influences operation that this whole platform is creating. So, for example, the classic social platforms which evolved, we saw its use during Op Sindoor, and then also how AQIS suddenly got hold of that uh, event and started using it as a call for jihad and expanding the theater of jihad symbolically and geographically. So it just shows that now the terrorist organizations are using these geopolitical issues to rally supporters and fundraise, and also incite lone wolf actors. So the ecosystem has changed, and in one of my writings, I have talked about the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan's propaganda and AQI's propaganda, where they talk of using the martyr's death as a motivational speech. So that is another way. Then one interesting thing, and I think by now everybody in this country has got some sense of it, that the discussion around this whole Online Gaming Act 2025, that this has become one of the serious generators of cybersecurity threat for the country. And since last year, I have been reading the trends, and I found that it's surprising that how quickly this whole discussion around the gaming platform and its exploitation by the or by the terrorist organization has led to recruitment and radicalization. And I will not stick only to the Indian example, but it's been found that they are using it for recruitment and radicalization purposes all around the world. And India, of course, has shown a rise in number, because India is one of the top 5 places where we have seen people using online gaming platforms. So it does make an impact, and it does ring a bell with the security agencies that in future, in times to come, it may become one of the threats for the nation. So gaming, of course, is another way we have found it having impact. Then the use of dark web, we found that in dark web or digital era, they are financing terror funding is happening through use of cryptocurrency. So there is a lot of fundraising happening. They are disrupting the blockchain by using mixer and tumbling process. And there is also decentralized exchange which is happening, and it has in fact complicated the way the investigative agencies can track and trace and counter these actions. So we have found change in the way terror funding is happening, because money is off-ramped via an exchange like brokers, gift cards, direct spending with crypto accepting vendors. So, for example, United States Department of Justice in March 2025 seized disrupted a Hamas-linked crypto fundraising network, and they found it to be approximately 200,000 US dollars. So that is the amount we are talking about. So if Hamas is able to do, recently we heard about Jaish-e-Mohammed, how they are talking about digital currency and digital wallet to carry out donations and zakat, which is then used for terror activities. Similarly, religious motivated flows have also been constantly there. There has been that has been one of the classic ways in which fundraising has been done. So that is another way we have found the terror funding taking place. One more important thing I realized while doing my own research was, uh, that they are also creating a lot of bots, which is modified games. And through those games, they are using the symbols of their organizations, about their flags, about the motto. They are playing all those, making that as part of their um, structure and gaming platform. So people who are playing, it's not just a simple platform where they are doing encrypted communication, but also some sort of simulation exercises are also happening. So you don't need a battlefield anymore or a training ground anymore. The virtual playground or via online gaming has become another training field. So for example, they will create similar kind of obstacles. There will be some voice which will command the actions, that when to unload, when to load, and how to change the weapon and tactics. So there is somebody who is guiding them from the voiceover. So that is another thing that was very interesting to notice, that it has become a digital training ground as well. Uh, if I talk about one more thing, if I talk about with regard to terror funding, then in case of India, we have found that terror funding somewhere is linked to digital scams also. So not all scams that were happening are directly related to cyber crime, but there is also cyber terrorism that is there, and alarmingly showing so. So, for example, the uh, during the what do you say, the Kumbh Mela which happened early this year, a lot of people from across the world were trying to travel to India, to Allahabad, Prayagraj, and they wanted to stay in hotels. Now, what these crime cartels were doing, that they were creating the clones of the websites. So if Make My Trip is one of the websites, they were creating exact mirror website with a payment gateway connecting to their wallet and to their organization banking account or details. So whoever was doing any kind of booking, the money was getting transferred into the private account of these crime cartels, rather than going into the Make My Trip website. And this was traced at a very right time. So not too much of loss happened to the government of India or to the people in general, the travelers and the devotees, because some of them started raising this voice that although they have got the clearance of booking, but when they were cross-checking with the hotel and with the website, they found that actually those bookings were never happening, but the money was getting debited. So then Methi came into action, and they stopped these mirror or clone websites. And there were approximately 35 to 45 websites of that nature which were found during the investigation. So that is also one of the ways in which terror funding was happening. Now, when we talk about, I'm focusing a little extra on terror funding because I feel that digital space is becoming uh, very sensitive towards how the transactions are taking place. So the blockchain analysis is something which also came to my mind, and notice that although investigative agencies are also using blockchain analysis to find out that who is basically blockchain analysis is a tool that it's a sophisticated software basically that inspects, interprets, and visualizes public blockchain data to identify a pattern and track the flow of fund or the cluster wallet from the originator or the where the crime is happening. But similarly, the terrorists are able to disrupt this blockchain analysis also through the use of the tactics which I previously mentioned on mixers and tumblers. Because what happens that in during when mixing and tumbling happens, they collect the coin from multiple users, blend them. It's like a mixer which we use at home. So you blend everything together and then redistribute randomly sized amount to recipient addresses. So now the original ownership of those cryptocurrencies is obscured. So you can't really find out from where it has originated. So these are some of the ways in which they are doing use of crypto for financing. We saw how Australia and Malaysia have taken action on the issue. For example, in Malaysia, the how it becomes even a regional challenge is because of the cross-border information flow, and the Indian interest lies because of the some close proximity of Bay of Bengal as well. So you see that online radicalization is sometimes not happening within India, but there are platforms which are using Tor to carry out these engagements and encrypted communication. So uh, that is one. And now, when you talk about Australia, their cybersecurity doctrine has specifically put their, and that is something which the India must learn from. That even though Australia has not shown any significant number of cases on online radicalization, but they seeing the trends of world over and in their region, they realize that it is a matter of time only that online radicalization can travel into their own country. And they were already seeing the symptoms of how rampant was the use of online gaming platforms, online shopping platforms by the youth of the country. So they started studying these trends and patterns, and based on that, they came out with the cyber doctrine. So these are some of my initial remarks that I would like to park here with the audience, and then take it forward from you, Abhinav.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Soumya. Yes, so before we move on to our like real Q&A session, can I request you to just discuss a bit more about the blockchain thing you mentioned about tumblers and mixers, and also my question is that suppose if the money gets transferred to a digital wallet, or let's say through bitcoins, how do they actually convert into a real cash, or like, I mean, how does it becomes a real money owned by them?
So what happens is that when there is any kind of transaction which is taking place via cryptocurrency, so firstly you must understand that for the audience to understand that cryptocurrency is used mostly on dark web to facilitate anonymous transactions for illegal goods and services. So when I'm using Monero or let's say Zcash, these are the two most prominent bitcoins, or not Bitcoin, sorry, but cryptocurrencies that are used. Earlier, it was only Bitcoin, but now these two currencies are also used for, um, for exchange of goods and services, because they have more enhanced feature of anonymity. So users remain concealed behind alphanumeric wallet. What happens when you are purchasing any kind of cryptocurrency? You are given a alphanumeric wallet address. You are not given your name. So Soumya Awasthi is not buying a cryptocurrency, but ABCD 4578 is buying a cryptocurrency. So from exchange, from cryptocurrency, from exchanges, user sends these coins to vendor wallets. So there is a third party. I bought from somewhere, then I give it to the vendor wallet via an encrypted marketplace. So there is an encrypted marketplace that operates on platforms like Tor, the onion ring, which I talked about, that helps you borrow the IP address of another country, of another system. So you are able to jump these IP addresses and work on an anonymous platform. From there, the wallet is the cryptocurrency is given to a vendor wallet. Then payments are made using the wallet. So again, the vendor wallet is liquid, it's not fixed. So for example, giving relatable example is Paytm or GPay or Amazon wallet. These wallets are connected to your user ID, and you are able to like I can investigate and trace it back to your account. But in vendor wallets, these wallets are open for other users as well. So you put it, you get a alphanumeric wallet ID, and then using that, you extract the money. So there is this mid vendor wallet is something which is very critical in this cryptocurrency transaction. And they are used mostly for drugs, stolen data, and hacking services, and also for buying, selling off the stolen credit cards, then the fake documentation. So a lot of time we have found the Aadhaar cards being uh, approximately 45,000, I believe, Aadhaar cards were found. The fake Aadhaar cards were found on the dark web. So this is kind of transaction, which is the level of transaction which is happening. And as I explained, that how the cryptocurrency transaction is able to uh, secure your identity is because they use the method of mixing and tumbling, which I explained. So these services operates by collecting coins from everywhere, then it is distributed equally or in random size or amount to recipient addresses. So original ownership is obscured, then they can be either, and it is very decentralized in nature. So they are using collaborative cryptography like CoinJoin is one platform. So they use CoinJoin, which is a collaborative space where they are able to bring this multiple users together and disperse from there. So I don't know if I'm able to explain it in a very clear way, but what I'll repeat myself, that I buy currency and I put it in a vendor wallet. I get a alphanumeric wallet address. Then I use that address to go into the encrypted marketplace via platforms like Tor. From there, I go and purchase or do my illicit activities. And the reason we are able to secure our uh, identity is because the terrorists are using two unique methods, which is mixing and tumbling. So this is a service in which you all the collect coins are collected from multiple users, then it is blended and then redistributed in a random manner. So for example, I may have deposited only Z coins, but when it is going into the mixer and tumbler service or in the vendor's wallet, they may not return the Z coin denomination to me, but may give it to me in Monero. So that is what I mean by blending and redistributing in a random format. So the original ownership is then secured. And one of the cryptographies that is used is CoinJoin, which is able to break the transaction trail. So it's a little technical, but it has got multiple uh, interfaces, and that is why there is nobody is able to read the transaction trail. Even investigative agencies who use the method of blockchain analysis, it's a software which they use to study the trends and patterns. And like I have my target is somebody, and I'm trying to study the pattern in which they are uh, spending the money. So, for example, my statement will give the pattern that I'm 5 times in a month I am doing online shopping of approximately 2 to 4,000 rupees. So, and then the investigative agencies will continuously study my pattern for few months together, and then based on that, they will interpret that how it is able to do, what kind of uh, funds they are using, what is the trail. So this is one of the ways in which the investigative agencies are able to trace the trail. However, because I explained previously that there are so many other interfaces that have come up, the sometimes blockchain analysis do not work. And there are more refined cryptocurrencies, which I talked about, like Monero, because ISIS has been very popularly using Monero, so has been Hamas. So they are using all these uh, cryptocurrencies for the transactions. And another way that they are able to, you know, choke the investigation is by, KYC, which is done. So KYC, during the KYC also, they are able to skip certain aspects because of the use of deepfakes and um, stolen identity. So identity theft is used at that point when you are doing investigation. That becomes a hurdle as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Soumya. So if I understand correctly, so this entire money is mostly operating on the TOR, dark web. You're making purchases by making online payments only. And this money, I mean, it never gets transferred to a real legal bank account. It can never get transferred, right?
Yeah, it is never done because so there is also somewhere Hawala is also involved in it. So
Yes.
if I have used cryptocurrency and I have given it to you through some means, so you may not transfer money to the service provider in the format of crypto. You may save crypto and give cash. So
Okay.
again, the chain has been broken through that use. So Hawala continues to play a very important role in
So
terrorism.
Hawala works as a complementary system to this. I mean, it complements
Yes.
the crypto world. Okay, because
Yes.
I read about the Zcash using digital wallets. Now, Pakistan is not a very digitally advanced economy, and if they are using all that money to build their building, to construct their new buildings and infrastructure, they will need somehow to get them transferred to their bank accounts or like whatever they are operating in the legal domain. But in their case, since the government supports them, so they will not have a problem. I mean, the only challenge for them is to get the money. Thank you. So
Yes.
my next question, and I also want to request our fellows, Sai, Aprajita, Bikash, please feel after my question, feel free to ask your questions. Okay? And it's we're really fortunate to have Soumya with us today. She's an amazing expert on the subject. So please feel free to float your questions. So one question, Soumya, before my fellows start asking the questions. I see a lot of, I would say, very general reels on Instagram and even like YouTube and all that. So they technically speaking, they are not illegal. Technically speaking, they don't promote terrorism, but they are very subtly conveying a very extremist Islamic messages. And they have, they're showing people in their routine lifestyle and all that. So sometimes I suspect that even these are fronts for raising terror money, or even on the YouTube, if you see, you'll find a lot of ads, showing poor people from Palestine. So, I mean, do you have any idea if these mediums or these fronts are also used for raising terror money? Because we heard about Hamas using crowdsourcing to raise terror funds and all.
Yeah, so yes, when you talk about radicalization and recruitment, I think very recently there has been a lot of news on how influencers are being targeted and they are being used as the mascots, and they are basically used because they have large online following and they are able to amplify any kind of content that makes them famous, or rather helps terrorists spread the message. So platforms like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and even somewhere all these TikTok and all, which for some reason India has also removed the ban on TikTok. So I think these platforms have also been found to be involved in sharing of radical messages and for inciting violence and glorifying of terror attacks. So, for example, I have come across many times these um, Instagram pages, which are looking like a normal activist groups, which are talking about somebody's human rights and somebody's freedom rights and so on and so forth. And they were at its peak and they were targeting India during when the Article 370 was abrogated. That was a time when the Instagram pages became very prominent and popular. So they were showing graphics using cartoons and caricatures to spread a message that how it is hampering or suppressing the human rights of people of Kashmir. And they were all originating from Pakistan. And some were also not linked directly to Pakistan, but they were they were diaspora, Pakistani diaspora, which is staying in some other country, maybe Europe or maybe other Western countries. So there have been times when they have been asked to carry out in return of some money, and that money again doesn't come directly into their account, it comes via channels. So Hawala is one way, and of course they also have this, influencers have this addiction of getting famous, so that becomes one of the surprising ways in which we have found. And so the Jyoti Malhotra case was is a classic example of how influencers are influenced first to further influence others, and they do tailored content, which is tailored for the audience. And the kind of hashtags they use are able to surpass the investigative agencies. So not every time they are using hashtag jihad or hashtag anti-India or things like that. They are using other kinds of hashtag, being very creative, so that even if in the terms of algorithm somebody is trying to trace them, they are able to evade that investigation or evade that tracing, and they're able to bypass those norms of the platform. So they are using those methods, and often it has been found that in YouTube, when the videos are playing, there are a lot of comment in the comment section. Sometimes there is encrypted communication also happening from that platform as well. And then there are people who are paid to make digital graphics and videos which shows Islamic community or people being killed. For example, Hamas was involved in these fake videos where they showed multiple people killed, and hence we should all do jihad and support us because these families. So they show these orphan children, these maimed people who apparently lost their limbs in the bomb blast or firing. So they use the images of them, and then they flash a QR code or banking details to say, why don't you donate some money, and this money will be used for the welfare of the orphans. And this is how fake NGOs come into play, because these fake NGOs are using the platforms like Instagram, YouTube, and others to raise fund, playing with the emotions of the people. During 2019 and 2020, when Delhi saw riots happening around the issue of CA and RC, it was also found that a lot of university students were involved in fundraising, which was unfortunately not used for the welfare of anyone, because that time the narrative was such that during the demolition drive, so many people lost their shops and their livelihood is now under threat. They are not able to meet the needs of the family. There is hunger and poverty. So these kinds of things were, that narrative was spread on social media, and a lot of banking accounts were floating on these platforms to saying that Salim Bhai from Shaheen Bagh lost his fruit cart. So please help him buy a cart. And then people are donating money. So there are ways in which people are evoking emotions, not just for recruitment and radicalization, but also for spreading narrative and for terror funding as well.
Thank you, Dr. Awasthi. Saicharan, you can go first. Just give me a moment. Let me pause the recording. Yes, now you can ask the question.
Thank you, Dr. Awasthi. That was extremely enlightening. And because my recent thesis or project was regarding the cyber terror financing policies of India, so this was indeed very sharpening. I had two questions, and it's the first one's more related to the technical aspects of off-ramp and on-ramping regarding the stable coins transmuting into the virtual currencies. the popular belief is that you may be able to dissect or identify nefarious teams while that on-ramp process is taking place. Is that a fact, in your opinion? In the whole, cryptocurrency land, even when you're using the tumblers or mixers, the only way you can identify potential suspicious groups would be the ones who are actually using tumblers in the process of transferring stable coins to virtual coins. That's the first question. Yep.
Okay. So when you say off-ramp, it's basically provided, is typically provided by the cryptocurrency exchanges, and they are being used for transferring crypto to the platforms, to the wallets. The user sells it in, how the trends are or in the market. So that is how off-ramp is working. But when you say that they are able to use them with or without, are you saying that they are able to use it with or without tumbler or mixers, or
No, I think my question was that because obviously it's a very complicated scenario. So if you do have groups, so the first point is that you've had the physical flow of currency or the flow, and trying to implement that or model that onto the virtual world, wouldn't it be easier for authorities to track those terrorist organizations or individuals? I think the term is that it's going to be easier for officials to track groups as opposed to individuals who are using the tumblers and the mixers while off ramp or on ramp. Like it acts more as a catchment area and probably provides the only opportunity to interject or intercept the conversion.
Okay. Yes, coming to that question specifically, of course, there are ways in which these people who are using mixers and tumblers, but despite using them, they can be traced back to the individual or to the group, because there are methods which are there and it can be used. So, for example, even if there is anonymity, it's not completely anonymous. So using the timing, amount clustering, or behavioral patterns, investigators can sometimes actually link these mixed coins back to the origin wallets. And there is a thing called blockchain forensics that can also analyze the mixing patterns and use multiple privacy strategies to trace these originating wallet. So that is also possible. But when it comes to these sophisticated methods or tools to detect where the transaction is hitting and know the service, who is using the mixing service, where, and then try to map out, it is a long drawn process. And sometimes, unfortunately, the tech team within these cybercrime units are not really well trained or skilled. So it will take a lot of investment and time investment, money investment, and training investment to make them capable enough to do this forensics in the limited time period. So yes, there are ways in which it can be traced, and it's just that there is a gap that is existing. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I'll just be very quick with my second question. This is more towards what you were saying regarding the creative aesthetics of using deepfakes and AI, and especially when you're comparing it to maybe the knowledge that is there in the Indian diaspora, in India, obviously, because of the history it has had in dealing with Islamic jihadism or terrorism, as opposed to a country such as Australia. And my question to you, having that in context, is that recently there's been a lot of comparative studies that have been used to detect music criminology, for example, copying from the narco corridors that used coded musicology to sort of reel the supporters in Latin America. It's pretty much on the same lens that you've had these musical nasheeds, I think they're known as, that are pretty much juxtaposed with seemingly very naive websites for funding, and you could not even tell the particular purpose behind it unless there's a diaspora or a community. And I'm speaking strictly to the Australian side over here, because I'm sure in India people would have a little bit more understanding about certain, ideologies and the nasheeds that are kind of interacted within that. In Australia or certain Western countries, because there's a lack of knowledge around around what does it exactly mean to be in that situation, or like, the coded version of call for arms. So when you have certain websites that look very, it's very noble, but then it's kind of juxtaposed with these jihadist nasheeds, I think that's where it trips or it escapes the authorities and the guardrails. Do you feel that there is substantial gap in research around the world, or maybe in India, that you could talk about the music and criminology aspects, the implications around that?
Uh, I had a smile on my face when you talked about music and criminology, because that is something very, very recently, last month, I started reading upon. And I was trying to see that how much it is prevalent in terms of radicalization in the region, in subcontinent. And what I realized was that it doesn't have a large footprint, uh, the music and radicalization, or music and fundraising, but it does have the scope for it. So if we do that kind of a study from time before it actually translates into reality, then maybe we'll be prepared enough to counter them. When you come back to the discussion on how music is playing a role, there are two ways I would talk about. One is, of course, the taranas, which are played in Afghanistan, Taliban. And then there are taranas which are played by the terrorist organizations inside Pakistan, which is basically LET is very prompt with those taranas. And then Jaish comes next. So taranas are something exactly like nasheeds, because it's type of Islamic vocal music or devotional song, which doesn't have too much of too much of singing, but it's more of talking. It's poetic in verses which are expressing their feelings, their ideas, and philosophy and ideology. So of course there are times, especially during the Ramadan, during the Islamic celebrations, or when somebody has passed away, or a terrorist has been killed. At that time, in these terrorist camps, they play these kinds of taranas to remind the volunteers that look how people have died for this religion, for this mission, and it is time that we take revenge of their death and kill all the kafirs. So this is basically the content that they circulate through music. Now that is one thing. The second thing that they do is, along the LOC, when you have all these radio stations, they have sometimes been found to communicate or send the encrypted messages through the use of radio channels. And they don't use Urdu as a common language, which is of course one of the languages, but they of course use also other colloquial tribal languages also to communicate. Now there also they play music, and there also they talk about issues, and that influences the listeners. So there is certainly a scope and some kind of indicators, but it isn't prevalent when it comes to its impact on Indian youth or Indian people.
Sorry, the last clarifying question would be, it would be difficult for foreign authorities and communities to get past this issue, because obviously there's, the jihad literacy or the Islamization of certain diasporas abroad is not as matured over here. So over there, in a community setup, or maybe if there's some sort of an Eid festival, then people would be very interested to know a little bit about the music, which is pretty much gone under the radar because it is coded, it's encrypted in ways. And a lot of foreigners would be attracted to that sort of exotic theme, and that they could be pretty much displaced in their notions about what it exactly is.
I mean, I will not completely agree with you, but I will also not disagree with you, because when you say that the foreigners or the foreign investigative agencies lack the understanding of these languages and the songs, and these people are listening to it more often out of curiosity sometimes, maybe. So, for example, if I was learning Persian, I was often listening to Persian music on YouTube. Some of them were really nice, but then some of them were also very, not really radical, but also had content which was related to religion. So now I may have understood and I may have stopped. But when you talk about issues like this in Australia or in UK, yes, investigative agencies may, these videos or audios may get surpassed, but then they also have experts which are expertly trained in the language, number one. Number two, when they start seeing symptoms in the individual of some different behavior, there is a lot of community policing that happens. The volunteers are there who keep observing the changes in their family member or in the neighborhood or in the peer group. And then they become someone who report these information, this change in the individual boy or a girl, to the security forces or the police or the beat police of the locality, that, hey, this guy is listening too much of music from Pakistan or Saudi, and we find him a little wonky. So they do that kind of reporting as well.
Thank you.
Ruchika, you have a question?
Yes, sir. Hi, Dr.
What's
Awasthi.
your
Thank
last
you for,
question?
yeah, I'll just keep in brief. Dr. Awasthi, while doing a research, I found that on one of the terror groups, foundations, so I found a very interesting thing that on their website, there is a content which is dedicated to the kids. They have a video where they have tailored, they have used the voice, they have used the cloning and everything, which which is very attractive, and the sound, the music and everything which plays. And of course, in the dark web we have a lot of tools like fraud gpt, wolf gpt and all that. And what I also observed in their latest issues, that they are well aware of geopolitics and technology as well. So whatever is happening in our neighborhood and whatever is happening in our country, even they have also have a dedicated paragraph on Nupur Sharma's statement. And moreover, they also have the steps on how to evade the security steps, like the digital hygiene. And they also have a lot of things dedicated to the media warfare. Their issues, there's one particular issue which has this segment called media jihad against them, where they have proper steps. And they have also told how to practice the digital hygiene. So, and also, and when I was researching, when I found this, when I came across this kids content thing, which was very new to me, we see that even their videos, there are a lot of kids in the background who are witnessing the extreme violence. And also they are exposed to the theology, psychology and ideology of these non-state actors. Again, it puts me in a conundrum that how to control this dark web, because it's a black hole. The more you found, there are VPNs on sale, there's everything on sale, there are loaded cards on sale, there are internet killers you can find. So they are also well aware of not only of the measures but also of the countermeasures. So I just wanted to know about your observation notes that could help us further in our research. Thank you.
Yes, Ruchika, that's a very important and most challenging part of the whole radicalization, de-radicalization, or counterterrorism issue, because when you say that they have content for each category of the society, like kids, youth, old women, men, so they, of course, tailor these content for the people. And this counterterrorism program is like a cat and mouse race, because they will always be running in circles. So the more I come up with some unique idea and there is a they decode it, then again we find a way to stop them, they again find something to counter us. So that kind of thing will definitely be there. When you talk about the groups having content for the kids, it's very common, and there are ways they are doing it. So giving you another example to add to the example that you gave, there is a YouTube page which shows these toy games. So like when we were kids, we used to play Ghar Ghar. Same way they will play these, house games, or they will say it is my farm. So they will use all these plastic animal toys. So this is one which I saw. I'm giving you example of. So they will use all these plastic toys, and background music will be of azan or of any kind of Muslim music, Islamic music, beg your pardon. And then they will show that cow is being slaughtered by the plastic knife. So there's a plastic cow and a plastic knife, and a kid is slaughtering it. And then there will be suddenly some kind of, fake blood coming out of it. So these kinds of videos have been made, which are hidden amongst the lot of links that a lot of these, or kids video. So there will be 10 normal kids video, and then in between one of them, they will show regular game, and then last 2 minutes, or in between that 15 minutes of video, somewhere in the middle will be the slaughtering video. So it's really difficult to get hold of it, because when the algorithms are working or third party is verifying these contents, they sometimes end up skipping the middle content, because the description doesn't say slaughtering or jihad or those kind of things. So that is one way they are able to escape the scrutiny of the third party agencies. So second thing they are able to do is influence the women of countries. So there was one statement given by Taliban that it's, or no, not sorry, Taliban, but by ISIS, where they said, ISKP, they said that we need to radicalize women or talk to women, target women, because women are the one who can further spread our message. So they use women because as Gandhi has also said, if a woman is educated in the family, the entire family is educated. So I think they have read Gandhi's quote, and they have used it. Another interesting thing in which, a way in which they radicalize is they are telling the women, for example, this was a case in Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh, that they were telling the women of JIMB that you women are constantly raped, there is no self-respect for you, you are subjugated, men are dominating you, so hence you must join this movement and show the power of women. So this, they played and triggered the self-respect emotion, or the this kind of emotion into women's mind to make them join the terrorist organization. So it is a menace we are dealing with. The way we can help ourselves is, of course, spreading more and more awareness. For example, the kind of talks we are doing right now, it's just a means of spreading awareness about how it is happening. In fact, when it comes to youth, we need to be a little more careful on the content that they're watching. There are, again, ways in which you can control the flow of content. We must support the kind of bills that come out, or the acts that government of India is trying to write. For example, the gaming bill, Gaming Act 2025. I think it's a good move. Of course, there can be some lopsided issues with the bills, with the act, which can be rectified, of course. But overall, I think these are the ways in which we can control the cancer from spreading further. That is what I will say. And of course, talking to your peer is one very easy way to do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Soumya. It was such an enlightening and eye-opening discussion, a great learning experience individually for me and for all our scholars. A very, very warm welcome. Warm thank you for you. Thank you to you for coming today and joining us today. And I would like to end today's discussion on a musical note. I guess Aparajita raised a question about the nasheeds and taranas. I would like to bring something, which is much more happening in sort of, more connected to the youth. How these guys are using rap music, to. So I'll share my screen. I have 2 songs which I'll be playing, and I must say, credit must be given where it's due. Just a moment.
Yeah, raps are again a way to
Yes.
communicate, spread the message.
Yes. And believe me, can you see it?
Yes.
I've never heard a better rap. I was never a big fan of rap. No, I'm a slightly old style person, old school. But this rap is such an amazing rap. I was so enamored that even while going to my official meetings in J&K while serving as the advisor to the governor, I used to listen to these rap music, you know, in my official cars. Yes. Just can you listen? Is it audible?
No, it
Not
is not audible. And can you
Just
broaden the
is it?
Check.
Is it audible?
This song is dedicated to Kashmirians. I salute your patience. Check one. Yeah. कश्मीर की आजादी तक, इंडिया की बर्बादी तक, जंग 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 रहेगी। कश्मीर की आजादी तक, इंडिया की बर्बादी तक, जंग 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 रहेगी। जो मेरा था वो लूट लिया, जो मेरा था सब छूट गया। बरसों से था जो मुर्दा घर में आतिश फीशा फूट गया। अब शनि का साया तुझ पर आया, माया होगी मंगल की। बदला लूंगा बुरहान का, बात करूंगा जंगल की, पर बात ना होगी मुंह से अब गोली चलेगी। हाथ में 47 है कश्मीरी भाई, वाह वाह। पत्थर वाले दौड़ गए, अब बदले लूंगा सारे तुझसे। जा साले उसको बुला ले जो तुझको बचा ले मुझसे। कश्मीर की आजादी तक, इंडिया की बर्बादी तक, जंग 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 रहेगी। कश्मीर की आजादी तक, इंडिया की बर्बादी तक, जंग 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 रहेगी। आजादी को भूले हम हैं तेरी बर्बादी की खातिर, तुझको है बर्बाद करना अपनी आजादी की खातिर। गाड़ी तेरी फाड़ के रख दूं, बनियों सालों गाड़ के रख दूं, ऊंचे खंबे जैसे तेरे चेक पोस्ट उखाड़ के रख दूं। टैंक तेरे बारूद के भरे, हिम्मत करके फाड़ के रख दूं। जितनी अकड़ है साले तुझ में एक पल में उतार के रख दूं। वक्त है जागने का, आओ भाइयों जाग जाएं। ऐसा धाड़े के साले दुश्मन सारे भाग जाएं। इंडिया के कानून को आग लगा दो, इनके गंदे खून को आग लगा दो। इंडिया के कानून को, इनके गंदे खून को आग लगा दो, आग लगा दो। इंडिया के कानून को, मोदी के जनून को आग लगा दो, आग लगा दो। इंडिया के कानून को, मोदी के जनून को, इंडिया के कानून को, मोदी के जनून को आग लगा दो, आग लगा दो। इंडिया के कानून को, मोदी के जनून को आग लगा दो, आग लगा दो। कश्मीर की आजादी तक, इंडिया की बर्बादी तक, जंग 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 रहेगी। कश्मीर की आजादी तक, इंडिया की बर्बादी तक, जंग 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 रहेगी। जंग 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 रहेगी।
Now this connects so well. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we can.
In
this
fact,
is
when
the-
I was when Burhan Wani was killed, I was in Kashmir and I saw the whole 1 month of protest that was carried out and stone pelting. A big boulder came and landed on my car bonnet as well. But and I had a 6-month-old son with me, so there was a big boulder which landed on my car. And that time also they were doing a lot of these narabazi.
Yes.
in
Sarjan
Kashmir.
Barkati. Sarjan
and-
Barkati was the guy. I know. So he
Yeah,
made
and
many.
they used this tarana on Burhan Wani and all that.
They're very creative that way, and you know this really connects to the youth. You know, I mean, you can see the quality of the rap. In fact, I find it better than most of the Indian rap music that's coming out. I mean, it really connects
Yeah.
with your mind. There's one more that I would want you to listen. After that, we can just close. You know, this is the Kashmiri version of Bella Ciao. Is it audible?
Yes.
Sahar av, gul yel fallen, insalan Shahid bachan karon kashir azad So pad matil kunant poshpor Chinn mashmit sanyen zenan maschi yad 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 yim tayram naivuk Wapas na einvuk Subhan shaman divan timman aisinad Sein polvin golab Zunt aftab Kabran mas traibuk wanu kimchna molum afrat aisnuyin manan Har doch watan Alam hetch pakan kush shasavar Dushman must elect, Sinan must bullet, Hatem must fear, Gassish Kutsa, Krar, Israeli Turkey, Chutuyas Maman, Asti Hoshmut Palestini Intifad, Hari Singh Tumli, Abdullah Tandi Astim Mufti and Khab, Dunya Haso. Sasi pornovu, asti dohai prazno tuhun apzar. Puns me agast, padraun annui, tunzi jamhuriyat ukras go fash, Amriki vanan, London tivanan, UNS mazbuzne tuhun znazi char. Parmani koru, sahi accession, Shitik election, UN resolution, fraud, to the article, to the agreement. Prutsu temiz na prutsu, I say as, Tuteo do hope, Chuesi harchir, Suju emsit gaisi koshuna kam panyo balsonish tohin senrayu estilyo chicken mas inkalab durab go kunui garishn khabri zamini asn soinuti tulani azab ashikt mashuk kayu kajada Dilan mashuk istirab Asfat pota Beonu tada PSA and Twitter lecture Kar bar makan sanjayu Garu bujrayu Tote bagan hurchut kara ehtijaj Waqt chugawa Tehreek nauka There's this mujadok muhim yupakan yirawan terdit se bang Zuito bujanan Astulan kaini shuri marit zanan Yeli azadi Sani kashire Yizyo kabran pekte dizyo aise nar banjo shahido Muhim was manzil, tuh shahadat was anjam. So this
Hello?
actually is the kind of song they play even when somebody is killed from their gang of
Yes.
people, so that they can remind who has gone and why he has gone and what should we do. So
And
that
interestingly, the best part is that very nicely and beautifully they are able to hide Islamism and jihadism behind these, very appealing and attractive doctrines of resistance. These songs make it look like some sort of a young left-wing, ultra-radical, Marxist, revolutionary kind of a movement. So even educated intellectuals, people who are studying in Harvard, Cambridge, or like some of the big Ivy Leagues, will be attracted to this. Palestinians do the same thing. Kashmiris have copied them. And I think it's really very smart and innovative. Preeti, recording ban kar do. Stop the recording.
Give me a moment. Can I pause it because we haven't ended the.
हाँ, ठीक है, हाँ, pause करो.
Cheers.
was so exciting that, I mean, we could not stop ourselves from asking questions and, little bit digressing also. And we look forward to engaging you more often, inviting to our online as well as offline events in Udaipur or in Delhi. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Usanas Foundation, Abhinav, and your team for inviting me. In fact, it was really interesting to see that we could engage into a serious discussion on such an important topic. And yes, I also look forward to it because I think our work and our thinking aligns.
Yes.
Also, I would be really appreciative. You can edit this part, but I'll just say that you can look. I would love that if you could read my upcoming book, which is on Deoband Islam. It's published in Rutledge by Rutledge in UK, and it should come out next month in India. So that, and I'm doing some work on information warfare of Pakistan, China, and US, and so on and so forth. So we'll be happy to keep sharing all those with you all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great, heartiest congratulations in advance. In fact, we can also organize a small book discussion on your upcoming book.
And yeah, Udaipur remains one of my checklists. So why not when
Definitely.
Usanas calls?
Definitely.
So,
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Thank you, Dr. Awasthi.